This happened to me when I was still at primary school. I was babysitting my little brother while our parents were out. We were bored, so we decided to play hide and seek. I became it and started looking for my brother. I entered my parents' bedroom and opened a wardrobe which was crammed full of clothes. I then thrust my hand into it when immediately another hand reached out from inside and gripped mine. I tried to pull him out, shouting, "Hey, come out," but he wouldn't come out no matter how hard I pulled. He was hiding behind all the clothes and didn't speak a word either, and I started wondering what was wrong with him. Just then, a voice called out to me from behind. "What are you doing there?" It was my little brother standing in the doorway. I panicked and shook myself free of the grip, and we rushed out of the house together. Needless to say, I couldn't go inside again until my parents came home. What was that hand? Did it belong to a burglar or... This is a story I heard from my friend, who works in an estate agent. There was a flat he was in charge of, and one of its rooms always gave him a strange feeling every time he went into it. Something was not quite right about it, but he could not put a finger on what it was. Then one day he thought he had found out the reason. He spotted that the passage next to the room was about 1 meter shorter than it should be. He went to the end of the corridor and knocked on the wall. And from the sound being made, he deduced that there was a small space between the original wall and the one he was knocking on. He thought that was odd and decided to investigate further. Having first got permission from his boss, he pulled down the wall. I would have felt better if I had found a skeleton or something in there. My friend told me later about his experience. In reality, what he found inside was a certain word, repeated again and again, written all over the walls. Mummy, 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 mummy. So the word ran endlessly in red crayon. In the end, they decided to put the wall back into place, leaving the place as it was, without erasing the words. After that, he promptly handed over the charge of the property to another colleague. A couple were enjoying the drive through the mountain. Suddenly, they notice a child standing ahead of them. The man slams on the brakes and manages to stop the car. He gets out of the car to check, but the child has disappeared into thin air. Then he notices that they are on the edge of the precipice, and had the man not put on the brakes, they would have been dead. The woman says, "I know now. The child was trying to warn us of the danger. It was a good ghost." But immediately after she said it, they heard a child's voice from behind. "You should have died." A child walking home from school is approached by a strange woman. The woman asks, "Am I beautiful?" Although her mouth is covered with an oversized surgical mask, the woman has attractive eyes and seemingly well-formed nose. So the child replies, "Yes, you are beautiful." "Even if I look like this?" says the woman, taking off her mask and revealing a ghastly red mouth which is slit from ear to ear. While the child is too stunned to move, the woman takes out a scythe from inside her coat and hacks the child to death. Kuchisake Onna is one of the most famous faces in Japanese urban legends. Details of her appearance and background and her method and instrument of killing differ from region to region. Above story is the most commonly told pattern. Her victims are almost always children. Ways to avoid getting killed by Kuchisake Onna. When asked, "Am I beautiful?" you mustn't give her a straight yes or no answer. Either way, you're done for. But give her ambiguous answers such as so-so, normal, or average. Run away while the woman is busy puzzling over the meaning of the answer. Sugar candy is the woman's favorite sweet. Throw it to her and you can get away while she drools over it. Chanting the word pomade 3 times would petrify her and buy the time for you to run away. Why pomade? The usual explanation for the woman's disfigurement is that it is the result of a plastic surgery gone awry. The surgeon who operated on her was wearing pomade and the odor of it was so strong that it made her sick. For that reason, chanting pomade to her would remind her of the traumatic experience, hence her reaction. Instead of chanting the word, you can also throw an actual jar of pomade at her, which is a more effective form of defense. Smearing pomade into your hair is thought to have an effect on her too. Her appearance. She usually wears a long crimson coat to camouflage the splatters of blood she gets from her victims. She is thin and pale-skinned, and about 20 years old of age. She always wears a surgical mask, but that is not so unusual in Japan, where some people wear such masks to avoid passing their cold on to others. Other rumors. Kuchisake Onna can run 100 meters in 3 seconds. She is one of 3 sisters. The other 2 sisters have split mouths too. She likes the number 3. She often appears in places which have 3 in their names. It was past 10 in the evening. I thought I was the only passenger on the bus, but I heard children's voices from behind. The children were apparently talking about a ghost story, Child A, and if you turn around, the ghost will snatch you away and carry you to the afterworld. I recognized the voice. I often saw these children on the same bus after work. They went to a nearby school, Child B. Then that's easy. All you have to do is make sure you don't turn around. Child A. Yes, but I heard you can't help but turn around. The ghost would try all sorts of tricks on you to get you to turn around. We were getting close to the bus stop where these 2 usually got off, but it looked like they didn't notice it. I thought I should warn them because I didn't want them to go home late. So I turned around and said, "You are getting off here, aren't you?" Child A. See? I told you so. This is a story from my childhood. When I was a child, I lived in a rented 2-floor house. Both my parents worked, so I was often alone when I came home from school. One early evening when I came home, the house was still dark. I called out, "Mom?" And I heard a voice said, "Yes?" from upstairs. I called her again, and again got the same "yes" reply. I felt she was calling me and climbed up the stairs. When I reached the first floor, I called her once more and the voice "yes" came from the furthest room. I felt both uneasy and a strong urge to see my mother and started to walk towards the room. But just that moment, I heard the front door downstairs open and my mother come in, carrying a lot of shopping bags. "Shunsuke, my name. Are you home?" My mother called in a cheery voice. Hearing her voice made me feel instantly better, and I turned back to go downstairs at once, but not before I had a quick glance towards the room. While I watched from the top of the stairs, the door to the room slowly opened a crack. For a brief moment, I saw something strange in there. It was an unnaturally pale face staring at me. I went outside to put rubbish out this morning. At the front door, I met my neighbor who said good morning to me. I told her good morning too. It was only when I had gone back inside that I remembered that my neighbor had committed suicide a week ago. There was once a girl who had been diagnosed as having only 3 more months to live. When her friends came to visit her in the hospital, the girl's mother, hoping to make the best out of the occasion, got the idea of taking a picture of them together while the girl was still relatively well. So she took a picture with the sick girl in the middle, sitting up on the bed, and her 2 friends on either side of her. Only a week later, after the picture was taken, the girl's illness took a turn for the worse, and within less than 3 months, she passed away. The funeral was held, and the girl's mother was just beginning to come to terms with her loss when she remembered about the picture she took in the hospital. She went to a shop to have it developed, but when she had the pictures back, she couldn't find that particular picture. When she asked the shop owner about it, he said, "I'm sorry, I made a mess of it." The mother, however, got suspicious and asked him again what became of the picture. She said it was the last picture of her daughter she took before the girl died, and begged him to give it to her. "I really think you shouldn't see it," said the shop owner. "You just stay calm, ma'am, okay?" he said before cautiously taking out the picture in question. And there it was, the picture of the 3 girls. But one thing was different. The body of her daughter, who sat in the middle, looked as though it was mummified. The mother was very upset, but she took the picture home nevertheless, telling the shop owner that she wanted to have it purified by a shaman. When she was at the shaman's, the mother asked her what implications the sinister picture had, and there again the mother was met with a wall of silence. But as before, the mother would not give up and begged the shaman to tell her the truth. The shaman in the end gave in to the mother's persistence entreaties and opened her mouth. She said, "To my regret, your daughter has fallen into hell."
Two-Face, met in the blow, plus getting the dough. We be checking your hoe while you sweating the flow. I be's intellectual, incredible, and flexible. I turn the virgin sexual, impeccable, but technical. I be the first letter, you ain't know. Check the alphabetical order. My natural elements, chemical shorter to leave the crew more bloodier. The menstrual waters on the 28th. Your thoughts are pennyweight. I'ma generate these bonds. Watch as I detonate. At any rate, I separate like races. Niggas segregate you featherweights.